one more time for the great Jessica Kirson. Thank you for being here, especially after you just got in town from Chicago.
Yes.
Oh, I really appreciate that. Thank you. I know what it's like to do a show when you don't feel like doing a show. So.
No, I mean, I once I start doing it, I feel like it. But
I'm glad this crowd is great. Right?
They're amazing.
Do you like
They're
them?
amazing. I love them.
Yeah, this is awesome. We'll put it here. There we go.
Give it to that couple. They'll put it somewhere. They'll find a place. I love them so much. I have to go out with them.
You should.
Yeah.
You should. Yeah. It's good vibes.
Yeah.
And he does look like a guy who would go to sex clubs. He has that look.
Yeah.
So,
well, they're free.
Yeah.
You live once.
Yeah. Yeah. All right, we got a couple of things to go. First of all, I want to tell you this story real quick because a couple months ago I was playing tennis somewhere in Brooklyn, and this girl from the court next to me came over. She was like, "Are you a comedian?" And I was like, "Yes, I am."
Do you guys know this story?
She's the girl in the story. That's what it is. Yeah.
Oh.
But I gotta tell you the story first. And she goes, "Were you at the Cellar last night?" And I was like, "Yeah." And she goes, "You roasted me." And I was like, "Oh, I kind of remember." She goes, "Yes, I'm the Jewish lesbian."
Oh, you're a lesbian? They're beautiful. Are you guys a couple? Oh, that's good.
And then she goes, "Do you know Jessica Kirson?"
Oh.
And I was like, "I know her, but you know, we're not friends, but I know her. I'm a big fan of her." She was like, "I love her so much.
Oh.
So if you're ever doing a show with her, please let me know."
That's so funny.
Yeah, so I told her about this.
Oh, that's great.
And she's here. Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah.
Did you get in touch with me on Instagram? You didn't? What's your name? Sabrina. Hi, Sabrina. And what's your name? Kate? Okay, cool. I'll remember that.
You're like, "Fuck you, Kate." Sabrina.
No.
Cool.
Fuck you, Kate.
Yeah, so I brought the Jewish lesbian here for the collection of Jewish lesbians.
Awesome.
There we go. Yeah.
I'm so glad you guys came.
Yeah. She was so excited.
That's awesome.
Yeah, that's great. All right, so the first time I think I heard about you, because I started 2012, but my first friend in comedy was David Finkelstein. Do you remember him?
Yes.
And he took a class from you.
Yes.
Yeah, and he was an Orthodox Jew.
For many years.
He was an Orthodox Jew, and we started doing comedy together. And we became friends because I was like this kid from Haiti.
Yeah.
So I was an outsider, and then he was also an outsider because he never had a computer until like 2012.
He was hysterical.
Yeah, he was great. He kind of doesn't do it anymore, which is sort of sad because he got to a point where he had to pick between Orthodox Judaism and doing comedy.
Yep, they make you pick.
Yeah.
They made me pick.
Yeah, were you raised Orthodox?
No, thank God.
Or you? What's the word? Just
Reformed. I was bat mitzvahed. I went to Hebrew school my whole life.
Okay.
I'm very, very proud to be Jewish. It's very important to me. Very. It's besides being a woman, it's the second probably most important thing to me in my life.
Cool.
But I am not religious.
Yeah.
At all. I believe in God and a higher power, but I am not a religious person.
Fair enough. I'm cool with that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So sometimes I'll see a comedian and I'll think, "Oh, I could see this person doing this or this or that." But because you're so fucking funny, I can't think of anything else you could be doing. Did you think about anything before you started doing this? What else did you have in mind?
Well, was going to be a therapist.
A therapist?
Yes, that was my path. That was what I did.
Is it because your mother is a therapist?
Yeah. I was at NYU for Masters in Social Work.
Really? So you got the Masters?
Yeah, that was I didn't end up getting a Masters. I was 2 classes behind. It's so fucking crazy. My grandmother. And I've said it, and I've asked people to edit that out of videos and stuff, and they've kept it in. It's so fucking crazy. But anyway, so Are
you gonna say it? Do you want me to edit it out?
Yeah, no. I've asked them to edit out that I have one. Like I end up saying it in jokes sometimes.
Oh, got it.
But so I my grandmother, I've said this in other interviews and stuff, but my grandmother just called me aside one day at a restaurant and said, you need to be a comedian. Every time you're sitting with people, they're laughing. Yeah. And you have a gift. And I said, I could never do that. And she said, trust me, I'm your grandmother. I know what you need to do. It's your path. You have a gift.
How old were you?
I was 29.
Oh, nice.
And I was very depressed, you know, doing social work, because I had started working as a social, you know, doing it in school and stuff, and volunteering and doing different things, and it was very depressing to me. I'm too intense and I'm too sensitive, and I took it on. I took it on to my mother never took it on. She has this ability. She's still practicing. Wow. She's been doing it, oh my God, like 57 years. So she can do it and, you know, be in a good mood after.
Growing up in that kind of household?
Of course, it's insane. Yeah. It's fucking insane. My whole life, my whole being is based on being the daughter of a therapist. I was thrown into therapy at 8 years old. That was my first seminar I went to on a weekend. Some of you know what EST is, Werner Erhard. I went to a weekend for that.
What happens there as an 8-year-old?
It's like a cult. It was a cult. Now it's the Forum and the Landmark. But I went to a weekend with all of her therapist friend kids. Yeah. And I was miserable. And you weren't allowed to go to the bathroom. This sounds so crazy, but it was like very, you know, crazy during that time. It was like the 70s, whatever. And then they passed around a microphone, and all I remember is like I didn't share yet. And I had to say what was going on. Like, my parents fight all the time, and, you know, they hate each other, and they screaming and whatever. I didn't know what to say. And the next thing, I'm putting this in a movie one day, or my television show that I'm working on right now. But I was just talking to the network people about this yesterday. My manager knows this. But and the next thing you know, I'm walking on a stage with a huge sign around my neck that said "victim." But I have been in every kind of therapy, every kind of, you know, I mean, like, you know, everything. Tapping. Yeah, she does Reiki on me. I mean, my mother is the most incredible, beautiful, but the whole thing is like always trying to fix me. Like, I just was never allowed to have feelings.
And you can't really fix
in a good way, in a loving way. She just always wanted to fix me. So it was like, it was being brought up of never just being allowed to just be and have feelings, and then have a father who couldn't handle if I had feelings. So, what do you have that face for? You know, stop being so down. Or he was so intense.
Yeah, those were dads in the 70s.
Right, right.
Those type of fathers.
Yeah.
That's wild.
Yeah.
Okay,
so I just laughed through it, and it was silly and making jokes, and so that was my way of dealing with life.
It's almost like you had to be funny to get through that
it saved my life. Yeah. It did. Save my life.
That's great.
Yeah.
Okay, so your grandma said this to you at 29.
Mm-hmm. I didn't think I could ever do it. I looked at the back of the Village Voice, which was, you know, old, and there was a comedy class.
Yeah, I remember when it died. That was a cool publication in New York.
There was a comedy class. I just saw a comedy class.
So you took it?
And I was like, oh, I'll take this class. And I took the class, and at the end of the class, you perform.
Right.
And during the time of the class, I took 6 classes, 6-week class.
No, I'm saying 5 minutes at the end of the...
Okay. And I saw a therapist during the time I took the class. Of course, my mother took me to a therapist who deals with fears and phobias, because I was vomiting, physically vomiting. And... I stood across from him and did all this work, like yelling at my father, my fake father. It's hysterical shit. And I don't know how I did it, but I ended up performing at Caroline's on Broadway in front of 300 people.
Hell
40 of the people there were my friends and family.
Nice.
They all sat right in front of me. They got there early, and I did it. And I did the 5 minutes. And then I just started doing open mics, I was petrified for years. Yeah. And like, I don't know if this is like, I never think about what I do. Like, my mom and my sister, they always say to me, do you realize what you're doing? Like, do you realize what you've done? Like, that you've performed for 20,000 people in stadiums.
Right.
And that you've done the Tonight Show. Like, you've done these. I'm like, I don't ever think about it. I don't ever look at it. I literally
you just
plow through it
and
never think about what I'm doing. I don't know if
do.
You
know
most
why
comics
you don't?
do.
Do you know why you don't?
I think if I don't have an ego about it.
Okay.
I have absolutely no ego about what I do.
Okay.
Which is probably not great.
Sometimes do you not get off stage and be like, oh, I murdered?
No.
You never feel that way.
I know I do well.
Right.
Like, I got standing ovations in Chicago, so obviously...
As you should.
Thank you.
Fucking kill it.
But, thank you. But and I walk off knowing I did well. Like, I'm not crazy.
Yeah.
So I'm like, obviously, I did very well. But I care more that people laughed and were happy. Mm-hmm. So I don't walk away going, I'm amazing. That's not
you remove
how I
yourself from
process
it. You are a part of something great that happened.
People cried when they hugged me and said, you're helping me. And so
it's
the same as being a therapist. That's why I do it. It's not...
I don't know if it's the same, but it's you're helping people.
I think my mom gets a lot out of helping people. That's why she does it.
Yeah. And the comics get a lot out of doing this.
Right.
Because sometimes people will come up to you after shows and they'll say stuff, and you're like, oh, I never even thought about that.
But that's what I'm saying. Like, I get messages all day from people from all over the world saying, you're helping me unbelievably. Like,
right.
So that's why I'm doing it. It's not so that I feel, it doesn't fill my ego.
But doesn't that make you feel good?
Yes, that's what I'm saying. Okay. It makes me feel incredible that I'm making a difference in the world.
Right. Yeah,
and I feel like
beautiful.
I'm supposed to. Like, there's a strong feeling that I'm supposed to be doing this.
Yeah, I think so. I think specifically for you, I think what could you be doing besides this? Because that's clearly a gift. At this point,
no, I don't know.
It is a gift. You are gifted.
Thank you.
Yeah, you absolutely are. Yeah. All right, there's like a weird left, but I thought you were a gold star lesbian. I had no idea you sucked dick 25 years ago.
Yeah. I was I know. People don't they assume know. That's why labels are so I was with guys. A lot of it. I was with guys in high school. I was with guys in college, University of Maryland, and and after college, I didn't mind having sex with guys. I never could fall in love with a guy ever. I tried, but I was like, get out. I just never. I never wanted to be in a relationship.
Which is a very guy thing to do. I'm just like, get the fuck out.
Yeah,
we fucked already. What are you doing?
Like a guy.
Yeah. See, I feel like there should be a natural kinship between lesbians and straight dudes. Cause
a lot of my friends are straight guys.
The same way straight women and gay men are like best friends, but we're not using it the same way we should.
Yeah, that's hilarious.
Because we're both dealing with women.
I talk to my straight male friends a lot about it.
Yeah. I think of you as, I don't know if that's a reductive thing, but you're one of the boys. I am.
And they come to me for a lot of... and they send me a lot of inappropriate... and I love it. I'm disgusting. But anyway... Yeah,
that's the vibe I get from you. A very masculine person.
They love it. They because I'm a woman, so they love talking to me about it.
Right.
Of course.
Right.
But it's not that I was ever. I find men beautiful. I can find men, but I just don't want to be with them. And I haven't been for so many years. But it's.
So when did the switch happen for you? So in college, you dated men?
I haven't been with a guy in 25 years.
Okay.
Yeah. So, but I could never say it would be. I could never say I'd never be with a man again. And I think everyone's on a level. There's some people who've never thought of being with someone of the same sex, and then most people are in the middle somewhere, whether it's here. Yeah.
Right. So. The last time you were with a guy was 25 years ago.
Yeah.
When did you know that, I gotta leave this. I gotta go with women?
When I, came out.
Okay.
Yeah. When I was honest about it.
Who'd you come out to? That's gotta be hard.
My family first.
Yeah.
What was hard for me, for them, they could give a shit.
Really?
I had a much harder time with it. They felt horrible for me. And I made it like I was dying. It's very funny. My sister thought I was dying of cancer. It is hilarious. We laugh about it all the time. My older sister Jennifer thought I was dying of cancer when I told her. So she was so relieved. I was like, it's gonna ruin your life. I was sobbing, and she's like, when I told her, she started laughing. She's like, are you fucking? She knew for years,
right?
Because I was with this other Jewish girl, Melissa, from college, from my Jewish sorority, and it was obviously everyone knew for years. She'd leave. I was seeing her the next day. I'm like, Melissa, I'll see you tomorrow. You know what I mean? Everyone knew I was with her.
Yeah.
And so when I told them, I mean, my parents were more concerned of how I would be treated in the world.
Yeah.
And they were upset that they wouldn't have grandchildren. Meanwhile, they do for me. So it's like, back then, you were not treated well. It's not like it is now.
Yeah.
At
absolutely.
all. So that was more of a concern of how I'd be treated.
Yeah. That's fair. I mean, it's as a family. That's the first thing you think about.
Yeah.
And did that change your approach to comedy on stage? Like, did you present yourself immediately as a lesbian?
No,
or you
not at all. And none of us did. There's not one gay comic that, from my generation, that started out as a gay comic. I shouldn't say that. I don't know that for a fact, so I don't want to say that.
Fair enough.
But most of us, including Judy Gold, Ellen, Margaret, I'm thinking of
Wanda Sykes.
No, none of us. I'm telling you, I can't think of anyone. I'm trying to think of it. None of us started out talking about it right away because then you're labeled. That's it. You're seen as, and I'm such a out of all of them, I'm probably the most mainstream.
Right, and you don't want to be put in a box.
I don't, because it's such a small thing. It's such a small part of who I am too. Like I see it as such a small part of who I am and what I talk about.
Yeah.
To me, it's so normal. I live in suburbia. I live on Long Island. I own a house in suburbia. Like it's such a small part of who I am. It really is.
Yeah, I agree.
It's weird. Like I don't like go around pronouncing. I don't talk about it a lot. It's like I just live my life, and that's how it is now. I think for most people.
Not those kids these days. That's their whole identity. You know, they're like
it's not
my sexual orientation.
I don't know.
Everything.
From me, I guess because I'm older. It's not. We don't live like. It's not like that for us.
That's good.
But I don't care. How anyone lives their life is how they choose.
Yeah.
But for me,
fair enough.
It's so not like that.
Yeah.
Like I take my kids to school. I talk to their parent. We're just like.
Yeah, you have 4 kids with 2 different women. You say basically
I'm like
you like a rapper.
Yeah,
that's your job. She's got 2 baby bitches. Mamas. Yeah. So what happened there? How did that come about?
Shari was my first partner. I met her flyering for a comedy show.
Really?
At the Duplex.
Classic comedy story.
Amazing.
I used to do open mics at the Duplex.
I was just flying.
Gay bar in the Village.
She walked towards me. I was like, this is not good. And I'd been doing comedy for 6 months, and another Jewish woman, so funny, and we just got together. Of course, the lesbian thing moved in like 2 days later. God.
Is that what lesbians do?
Yes,
they just
of course, the U-Haul thing.
Oh.
Yeah.
All right, a couple of, all right, cool.
Yep.
Why?
It's because we get emotional immediately. Just you connect immediately.
Right, okay.
Just, and we just immediately just got together. It was very intense. And then, she wanted to have kids. I was very, this is honest. I'm very honest. I was like, okay. But I was like so into my comedy, and so you know that you're a comic. I was addicted to comedy. Yeah. So I was out every night doing 4 or 5. Sometimes we do 6 shows a night. I mean, when you're doing it, you're doing. It's
and
like
when you
animals.
date somebody, when you do comedy, it's hard for them to know they come second to comedy, which is a hurtful thing to hear.
It's very hurtful.
Yeah.
So that was okay for a while until it wasn't.
Right.
And I did well quick.
Mm-hmm.
So Anyway, we got together and then we did in vitro and it worked on the first time. And Zoe, she gave birth to Zoe.
That's awesome.
And Zoe.
How'd you go about picking sperm donors?
I'm not going to get too into that.
Okay.
It's okay.
All right.
A lot of people ask that. It's okay. But there's a whole process to it, and you can learn everything about someone.
Okay.
I mean, I'm talking, there's nothing you don't know.
Yeah.
And
part of the reason I asked is because a couple years ago I was doing crowd work at a show, and this guy told me he was in town because he was supposed to meet up with his 2 biological children that came from him giving sperm to a sperm bank.
To a sperm bank.
Yeah, and I was like, that's a weird thing. Because how do the parents feel about you meeting them? That's very strange.
Right. Well, there's all different agreements and all different things that you work out. But that's more so for Zoe to talk about.
Right. Fair enough.
Yeah. And don't even care that it's okay that you asked me that.
Okay.
But that's up to my daughter to talk about at some
good.
point. So she's 16. She's an actress. She just did a De Niro movie. Isn't that fucking crazy? Which I also auditioned for, but Whoopi Goldberg got the part. So I can't even be upset about it. But I've worked with De Niro, so I was able to say to him,
that must have
my
been a
daughter's in the
raceless
movie.
part, huh?
Yeah. But it's amazing.
We just want a lesbian. We don't care the race. She has
That's hilarious.
to eat box. That's all we need.
That's so funny. But she's fucking amazing, my kid. And some of you have seen her. I have video. I just put up a driving video with her. She's hysterical. Wants to do stand up. She'd be amazing at it.
Yeah.
And she's unreal. And
so that's the oldest one?
It's the oldest one. And then and now I'm with Danielle, who is a therapist. Can you believe this? I know. This is the sitcom.
I mean, this is like classic therapy.
This is the sitcom.
You just date somebody like your mother.
Yeah, this is the show.
That's insane.
Yeah, she's nothing like my mother. That's also why it's interesting. So she's not Jewish. She's Irish, Italian, and she's very like, get over it, get up, Like,
right.
Yeah, so it's interesting. And she and we have a 7-year-old and we have twin 3-year-olds. Can you believe that? Yeah.
Wow.
And they're all girls.
So you have 16, 7, 3, and 3.
Yeah.
Wow.
All girls. I have 4 daughters, which I love.
Yeah?
And I never thought I'd have one kid, ever, in my entire life. That's why I say to really young people, I'm like, make plans, God laughs. I love that quote.
Yeah.
You think you're going to have a life, and
it's not up to you.
Let me tell you something. You have no fucking idea what's going to happen. Because I'm telling you right now, I never thought I was going to have a child. If you asked me, I would be like, I am never going to have a kid. Because I never, for 1 second, thought I was going to carry a child. Yeah. Ever. For 1 second did I ever think I would ever carry a child. Because I feel very male.
Right.
So it would be like a drag queen. Like I would be like, I feel like a
how many of the
construction
4?
Worker carrying a child. They'd be like, hey, no, let's go. I feel very male. It'd be like a man carrying a child.
How many
Even
of the 4 did you carry?
Even though I have long hair or whatever, I'm very male that way.
Yeah.
So the fact that I have 4 daughters is insane.
Yeah. Is there a part of it I wish you had at least one boy? Or are you happy with the 4 daughters?
I love it. I have like my own little women's march. I love it. They're amazing. It's the greatest thing. They're all so girly and princesses. Like they're amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah. They're great. They're like, and they're all different. They're great. They're so little.
In what way?
I'm so old.
How has it?
I know. Yeah, it's
Are
really
you calling
crazy.
her an old mom? Stop it, lady.
I am an old mom. I am. I mean, that's the truth. I really am. But like, we didn't plan on twins, And another thing is, and I'm very open about this, and I think that's what fans love this too, because I talk about this stuff, and this is sad, but it's life, and it is what it is. My 7-year-old has heart disease.
Oh, no.
You know, she has major heart disease. She has, she's had, this is so crazy, she's had 3 open heart surgeries and a stent, and all before the age of 1.5. Can you believe that?
That is rough.
Yeah. She was born with truncus arteriosus, which is a very bad heart disease. And she needs more. She needs a lot more. Like, I love when people are like, well, she's okay, right? I'm like, no, she's not. She's not okay. She's okay for now, but she needs more open heart surgeries. And she's on medication every day for the rest of her life. She looks normal. She is, you know, healthy. But we don't know when she needs surgery again. And she has to be put under sometimes. She just had to last week.
Is it something that has to be managed throughout life, or can it be fixed?
Well, she needs to have open heart surgery. She needs her heart valve removed, which hasn't even been done yet. That's the major thing that hasn't even been fixed yet.
Yeah.
She has 2 major problems. So one of them has been dealt with 4 times.
Okay.
The major problem hasn't even been dealt with. So this is like stuff that a lot of people deal with in life.
It's part of life.
And that's why I talk about it, because I deal with that stuff and then have to go on stage and be funny.
Yeah.
And you know, it's put pressure on my relationship, and these are all things that people deal with in life. And I think it's important as a comic to talk about this stuff, that, like, you know, I'm like you guys. Like, I deal with real life shit, and being a comic is just not I don't think it's about just being funny and silly anymore. I think it's about
not a
really
walk in the park.
Right.
Like we're just
but
clowns.
also it's about your fans getting to know you.
Yeah.
You know, and I want to be that kind of comic. I can't just anymore go on stage and just be this, like, hi everyone, and just be, I have to also be real and talk about this stuff, or I have to stop doing comedy.
And it's only through being real that you can even build a deeper connection with the audience.
Yeah, and that's what's happened. I mean, that's what's happened for me in my career.
Yeah.
And it's grown my fan base and my...
I'm very jealous of your relationship with Bill Burr, because I love Bill Burr.
Yeah. He's been I don't know.
Yeah?
He just believes in me.
That's great.
And he saw me perform. Well, I've known him for 24 years, but he saw me perform at the Patrice O'Neill benefit at a huge theater. Like,
all right, before we go any further, you guys know Bill Burr? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, he just saw me perform and do like 8 minutes at the benefit, and he was blown away. Yeah. And then he called me and he said, "You deserve a special."
Right.
I couldn't get
one. That's
one.
amazing.
Yeah, I don't get bitter a lot in the business, but the fact that I couldn't get a special was insane.
Yeah. That makes no sense.
And then he was like, "You deserve a special." So I told Comedy Central, "I want to produce your special." So I was like, "Thank you." So he produced my 1-hour Comedy Central special, and then he called me again, and he's like, "I'm doing a special for Netflix. I want you in it." So
you taped that back in May in LA. So I was there when you were out there. Yeah, it was really cool.
Yeah, so he put me in his Netflix special, and then like he has, you know, he always thinks of me and puts me in things, and then you know, he got me with his manager. He told his agent, "If you don't sign her, you're what's wrong with you?" So anyway, I switched all my representation.
It's the coolest thing when a good comic stands up for and try to help another good comic.
That's what they should do, and that's what I do for comics all the time. I wish more women did it for women, without being threatened. When you have millions and millions and millions of dollars, I'll never understand that.
Do you think? Let me try to phrase this the right way. Do you think women are more threatened by other women than men are threatened by other men?
Yes, but it doesn't make sense to me. If you're a woman who is already famous, and has tens of millions of dollars, so you already have it, then there's nothing threatening you. Like, it's about you. Like, then you have a problem. Because you already have what you want. I mean,
it's just the insecurity of like losing it, but you can't lose it because you already have it.
Right, but it's for a lot of people, it's never enough. Yeah, which is sad. you know.
Yeah, sometimes I think certain, not all of them, but certain famous people wake up every day thinking, I gotta find a way to stay famous. Because it's gotta be weird in the back of your mind.
It's not just women, it's men too. I know a lot of men like that. A lot.
Yeah.
There are a lot of great comics, though, that help a lot of people.
Yeah.
Men and women.
Yeah. Yeah, that's cool. No,
but
you and Bill Burr's like one of those great
he's done so much for me. It's insane.
Yeah.
And so have other people.
Right.
The only people, I mean, the comics have helped me so much. It's crazy.
Because comics know a real one, and you are a real one.
Thank you.
And that's what it is.
Thank you.
Yeah. So you have one of the coolest things that could happen to a comic, where you basically had to teach Robert De Niro how to be a comedian.
Yeah.
Tell me how did that come about? What the fuck happened there? Because that's insane.
I know, it's the best story. It is, like, it's a crazy story. That's why if I quit today, or if, like, I die today or something happened, I made it. Like, it's so insane what happened. I was at the Comedy Cellar around the corner doing stand-up on, like, a Tuesday night, and he was in the audience with Taylor Hackford, who is a director, married to Helen Mirren.
Nice.
And
Love
who's like, who even cares about anyone else? She is amazing. And they were watching comics, and I didn't know, and she was there too, and I didn't know that they were there. Yeah. And I was just doing my thing, and I turned around and talked to myself. And, you know, famous people really get that.
Right. Because it's their lives every single day. Yeah.
Exactly. Actors and comics die from that. Die. Like, really get it. I mean, Bill really got it. You know?
Right, of course.
So, I got off stage, and I went to Florida and that weekend to do a 55 and old development. It's all what I've been talking about. And I was at my dad's condo in Delray. This is so funny. And it was like noon on a Saturday, and I'm just in this condo like, I'm gonna die. Like, I'm about to go to like fucking Boca West or whatever and do this horrible gig. You know, for these people, just, I want to die. Like, I have to be there at like 4 for an 8 o'clock show, where they're all going to be like, where am I sitting? Where's Norman sitting? Like, I just want to die. I want to die. And I get a call from Taylor Hackford, who I don't even know. This guy is huge. Like, he's produced the biggest movie. Like, huge. He's the head of the Directors Guild.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, he's huge, huge.
Yeah.
So he calls me, he's like, hello, is Jessica there? And I'm like, hi, this is like, who the fuck is this? This child molester. And he's like, this is Taylor Hackford. And I'm like, okay. I have no idea who he is. And he's like, Bob would like, this is so amazing. He's like, Bob
he's just throwing out names like he's supposed to know who the fuck everybody is.
This is literally what he said. Bob would like to meet with you on Wednesday. And I go, Bob who? I have no idea who he's talking about.
That's
I go,
on him.
Bob who?
Yeah.
And he goes, Bob De Niro. And I'm like, he goes, would you be free, Bob, on Wednesday at 1 p.m.? Bob would like to meet. I go, Bob who? He goes, Bob De Niro. I'm like, yeah? Like, could you imagine if I'm like, no, I have therapy on Wednesday at 1. I'm not could he meet at 11? Like, what the fuck? So I'm like, yeah, sure, I'm available. So I freaked out.
Yeah.
I freaked out. I was like, I called my mother. I'm like, I'm meeting with Robert De Niro, Bob, on Wednesday. My mother's like, what? Like, she freaked out. She's like, what are you talking about? Like, everyone freaked out.
Yeah.
And I went to this office for the production company where they were doing the movie, The Comedian. Mm-hmm. And I walk in, and I see Taylor Hackford sitting at a table.
Yeah.
And then there's this little man sunken in on a couch, and it's Robert De Niro, and he has that hat on. He's tiny. He's like, hello. No, I'm joking. How are you? No, but he's like this little man. Like he's really small, like short.
How is it like shorter than 6?
Oh my God, he's like 5'5", 5'6".
Oh, I had no
he's like
idea.
5'6" or something.
Holy shit.
I just made him so short. No, he's like, he is like 5'6", 5'7". He's very short.
Yeah, that's still pretty short. Yeah.
So he's in this tiny couch. So I'm like, hi, where should I sit? And Taylor Hackford's like, you can sit right next to Bob. No, that's what I ended up calling. Everyone calls him Bob. So I sat next to him. And we just hit it off, and I wasn't starstruck. I don't get starstruck because also my stepbrother, Zach Braff, some of you know that, some of you don't, from Scrubs.
Oh, yeah,
I've been around so many stars because of him.
Yeah.
And, you know, he dated Mandy Moore. He hangs out with all these stars, and I don't know. I just wasn't, I didn't treat him like, oh my God, it's Bob De Niro. Like, I just was and I think he really appreciated that I wasn't
right, which is probably better for him, because most people would treat him like a star. It's like, just be a person.
I was like, oh my God, I was so natural with him. And we talked for 3.5 hours. During that time, Harvey Keitel busts in the door. I felt like I was on acid. I'm like, where am I right now? He's like, hey, Bob, you like my hair like this? Because they're all in the movie. Harvey Keitel, Danny DeVito, Leslie Mann. I mean, I could name, I think, 20 to 30 stars were in that movie, if you watch The Comedian. To make a very long story short.
No, I like, keep telling us the whole story. I don't mind. We don't have to
He's like, I love you. I love you. I want you to work with me. I want you to teach me how to do stand-up. I want you to meet with me. You free tomorrow? I'm like, yeah. Yeah, I'm free every day, whatever you need. I want you to meet with me tomorrow. You can come to my apartment building. You got a mic? Taylor, get her a mic. Get her this. Get her. I'm like, sure, whatever you need. Because I told him I teach comedy. Teaching. So he's like, I need you to teach me. He had to play a comic who had been doing it for, 30-something years. Mm-hmm. So it was a hard thing to do, to look that confident.
Right.
So I ended up going to his apartment the next day, started teaching him how to hold a mic, how to do stand-up.
Was that weird?
Yes, the whole thing was weird.
But just the teaching somebody how to be a comedian. Yeah.
Yeah. I met him downstairs here every day. We would drink espresso together, and I would teach him. He would get on stage. I would stand in front of him, heckle him, all kinds of shit.
Yeah.
You suck and whatever. He was very silly. He was amazing. He used to make me do videos of characters in the phone so he could go home and watch me because he loved how silly I was.
Right.
I'd be like, and just do these things in the phone. He treated me like family. He was amazing.
Super cool.
And I ended up working on the movie for 6 months. I ended up traveling, all over Florida and all over. I was his side person. He always has a side person on every movie that he trusts.
Yeah.
So I'd be in the trailer with him, every morning. It was crazy.
So what are you credited as in the movie?
A producer.
A producer? Oh, that's
this
big.
Is all
that's
from
a big.
Just him seeing me do stand-up.
Big fucking deal.
I got a producer credit. I got a comedy consultant credit. I was at every scene. I basically learned how to direct a little bit. So Taylor wasn't very happy with me because here comes this woman. Who he wanted around.
Yeah.
De Niro. So the first day of filming, I went to Queens, and Danny DeVito and Patti LuPone played a married couple.
Love Patti LuPone.
She's amazing.
Yeah.
Edie Falco was in it too. I could keep naming who was in it.
Carmela was
in it. I spent every
it?
day with them.
Love Carmela.
And I walk into this Jewish deli, and Danny DeVito and Patti LuPone are there with De Niro. And the second I walk in, De Niro, this is the first day of filming, De Niro goes, I need a line. Give me a line. This isn't funny. I don't like the line. So I'm like, say this. So they start filming. And De Niro, I don't remember the line, but De Niro says the line. And then Patty and Danny start laughing. And Taylor screamed at me. And I freaked out. Like, it was a lot because it was the first day of filming and I was petrified.
Yeah.
And De Niro blasted him. in front of everybody and said, "Don't you ever fucking talk to her like." I mean, it was like De Niro. You know what I'm saying? I was like, "This is amazing!" Like, oh my god, this is fucking movie. Like, this is. He's like, "You don't fucking talk to her like that." And I was like, "Dad, like this is therapy. This is fucking therapy. Oh my god, I'm being protected." Like, and that happened a couple of times where I had, you know.
Yeah.
And I learned I'm speaking up because he hired me. You know, he paid me.
Yeah.
He hired me, so I'm here for him.
Fuck you, Taylor.
And I'm going to claim my space. And I was just like, fuck you. And just showed up for him because it's De Niro.
Right.
It's De Niro. Like, if he says show up, speak up, I'm doing it.
That's
and
awesome.
I was a woman in the business, and just like I learned how to just speak. It was very good for me in business-wise. It was really,
I believe it. Yeah.
And I ended up being on a microphone at this like stand with all this equipment, and De Niro wore an earpiece. So in all the scenes where he did stand-up, I was telling him what to say with the audience.
You were just feeding him lines.
Yeah, I was like, say this to the girl in the red. Say. So if you watch the movie, I'm in his ear. And then I was in the movie. I was in a big scene with he and Leslie Mann. Myself.
Okay, so
yeah,
you were.
I was on stage.
Oh, nice.
I have a very funny scene with he and Leslie Mann in the movie, and then I directed a scene with him and Leslie Mann where he couldn't get it right. They couldn't get intimate together, so he had Leslie and he said, "I need Jessica to come in a room with Leslie and I and talk this out." And I figured out how Leslie could get. So crazy. So I learned how to direct. You know what I'm saying? Like, it really was amazing for me.
I need Jessica in the room to get hard. I can't get hard.
So I blew him.
Unless Jessica is here.
So if you watch the movie, I said to him, pick up the bottle and pretend like you're doing stand-up, and I told her to kneel in front of him. I mean, it was really amazing. I realized I could direct.
So you became
something.
a director, producer,
I know.
consultant in all one fucking movie.
Really crazy.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
That's so cool.
It was very cool. It was very cool.
Did you have to work on voices and faces? Because they seem to come very naturally to you.
Yeah, I've been doing it since I'm 3.
Yeah,
or 2.
you just
Who else
faces.
did that? I looked in the mirror all day. That's my whole childhood. I was always alone.
Yeah.
I know some of you did that. No, but I was alone.
Got it. How many siblings do you have?
I have one older sister. And then I have I had 4 steps. My stepsister passed away, but I have 3 stepbrothers.
Okay.
And then I have 2 halves. So my dad got remarried, and I have 2 half siblings.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
So it's basically you created your family with your old family, your new family.
Yeah.
You have 2 baby mamas and 4 kids. It's just the same shit. Yeah.
And I'm blessed. I have an amazing family.
Yeah.
Like my step siblings all know my half siblings. My mom is close with my half siblings. Mm-hmm. You know, like my dad's kids. She has nothing to do with them, but like, you know, everyone gets along. I'm really lucky.
That's super cool.
Yeah.
I will let you go soon to go get the chicken.
Yeah, gotta get that fucking chicken.
We'll do a few quick ones. If you had to sacrifice a family member to bring back your favorite artist from the dead, who's the artist? Who's the family member?
I don't know if I could sacrifice a family member.
The person you like the least.
I can't think of one family member that I would sacrifice.
You like all of them?
Yeah,
that's cool. That's great.
I swear to God, I couldn't think of one family member.
All right, is there an artist you would like to bring back from the dead that you like a lot? It could be across all genres.
Oh,
comedy, music, film,
Robin Williams. He's my idol.
Oh, yeah.
My idol.
Yeah.
I loved him dearly as a person. I knew him well.
Yeah.
I would do anything to bring him back. I just got like a pang in my heart. He was amazing. I talked about him a lot this weekend in Chicago.
Yeah.
Because people ask me who was like my mentor. I used to watch him at the Cellar all the time, and I was amazed by him.
Yeah.
He was the kindest person. he used to come to the comics table and go, "Do you guys mind if I sit here?" And there'd be like 5 empty seats. And he was too humble. He always thought he was a nuisance.
Right. I remember there's something surreal that happened with him because you've seen Louis, the show. Louis C.K.'s TV show. And he plays another comedian with Louis, and they're in this scene where they go to a club booker's funeral, but the club booker was such a shitty person that nobody showed up to the funeral. So it was just the two of them. And at the end of the funeral, him and Louis goes, "Hey, whoever dies first, would you?" And then I remember when he died, I'm like, well, I hope Louis goes to his funeral just to keep that promise going. That would be cool. Yeah. He was great. He was great. Nobody quicker. He was so fucking quick.
I've never seen anything like him.
Yeah.
I mean, he would go up for an hour with not one joke.
Right. That's a good pick to bring back.
Yeah.
All right. Favorite city to perform in America?
Besides New York?
Yeah.
Because obviously this is where I'm born and bred.
Yeah.
With stand-up since the beginning.
Mm-hmm.
I love Chicago, where I just was, and I love Toronto. It's amazing place to do stand-up. I love London.
I've heard good things about London. I've been
back there.
Yeah.
Because they yell out. They'll be like, "I agree with you." Like they're just that's their heckle. Me too. You know, like they're just. It's hilarious. I love Austin. Austin's amazing.
Well, you know what I've discovered?
They're dying there. They're like, "Please help us." They're dying to laugh.
I've been to Austin and Houston, and I'm sorry to say I like Houston a little bit more than Austin. Houston feels like a real city, and Austin feels like a city that's trying really hard to be cool.
Yeah. Well, I think Austin.
They're both.
Houston's too evil. In a certain way.
All right, final one.
Yeah.
And this is about legacy, so it's not a morbid question. What would you like your tombstone to say?
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Always be silly. That's my hashtag. My whole career.
Always be silly.
It has to have the number 3 because I'm obsessed with it.
Are you a numerology person? You're like.
It's just I have an obsession. I have a problem with the number 3. I mean, of course, it has to say something about my children and my, that whole shtick.
No, I don't want you to be nervous. It's okay. Always be silly is good enough.
Can you imagine? I'm taking it so seriously. Beloved mother. No, I mean, I don't know.
Okay,
something that I gave to people,
this gift, right?
Yeah. Something about laughter.
Still 3.
Still 3.
Of course, the sex club guy would say some shit like that.
Yeah. Fuck me harder. No, I'm joking. Butt plug. Yeah. Butt plug bong. Number 3. That's an intense question, but something about, that I gave or whatever.
Right. You got the gift of laughter and you shared it with people, and I think that's good enough. Yeah. Right?
Yeah.
Jessica
I just
Kirson,
want people to be
everybody.
happy.
Yeah. Thank you for doing this. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
I appreciate you.
Bye, everyone. Thank you
guys so much for doing the show.